Welcome back, guys. I'm Jake ELLENBOGEN. Today we're going to be talking about the ultimate factor in the Rams-Lions game. This is not quite a game preview, but it is a mini look. We're going to be talking about how the Rams can attack Jared Goff. And if you have been on this channel before, or if you've watched Jared Goff football, you might know the answer. But let's dive into it. Before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And, of course, today's sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks, which you can get $50 instantly when you try a $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app. One Caleb Williams passing yard gets you one win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right, only 1 yard is going to get you an automatic W every football weekend in September. You get 4 weeks of free Ws. Don't miss the deal, because once it's gone, it's not coming back, only in September. It's very simple to play Prize Picks. If you didn't know, you can just choose a player, select more or less based on how you see the player's projections to go, and there you go. Select one or the other, and now you're playing Prize Picks. Download the app today and use the promo code JKBogan to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay, so I wanted to touch on this because we are going to be diving into this game like crazy the rest of the week. Got DTR, I have a special guest coming on, so we are going to be tackling this game. But I wanted to start off with kind of just looking at Jared Goff, because he was pressured 33% of the time last year. And I'll tell you right now, Jared Goff, when he has no pocket, or when he has a pocket, he has no pressure, looks like Joe Montana, Tom Brady. Insert whatever quarterback that you think is the greatest ever in there, okay? But when Goff is pressured, it's a completely different story. As a matter of fact, the second half of that Rams-Lions game in the playoffs, because this is a rematch of that after all, the second half, he didn't look as good. Okay, he simply put did not look as good. Now, I pointed out in a video almost like, it feels like a year ago. It was earlier in the year, right before this game. And I said, I think it was 55%. That was the percentage Jared Goff throws over the middle, okay? Now, the most important percentage that you're going to know is the 33% pressure rate, because you're going to have to pressure him. You're going to have to get to the quarterback. But you clicked on this video, you saw the thumbnail, you saw big old 55, you probably were like, where did you even get that picture, since he's never worn a Rams uniform? They did a dress rehearsal right before the Texans preseason game. But Braden Fiske, who did not play in the preseason, I think is a key component for this defense. Now, think about this. You're Jared Goff, you're the Lions, okay? And now Aaron Donald is off your plate. Aaron Donald had 3 pressures, I believe, in the postseason game. So he wasn't a huge factor. They really tried to, nullify his presence. And while I'd say they did a decent job, the Rams still pressured Jared Goff. I think, revisionist history would have you believe that, it was the Lions that pressured Matthew Stafford the entire game. It was actually a little bit of both. Both sides definitely pressured quarterbacks. The thing with Goff is this, and this is why Rams fans should get very excited come Sunday night, because Jared Goff, like I mentioned, is a great quarterback when not pressured. But when he's pressured, it's not great. And I'll tell you right now, you lose Aaron Donald, you replace him with a Braden Fiske, you're never going to replace Aaron Donald. But you are essentially getting back the quick-footed, nimble type of player, a guy that is powerful. He's not Aaron Donald. I'm not going to put that pressure on Braden Fiske. But I believe Braden Fiske's relentlessness combined with Jared Verse's relentlessness, combined with the speed factor of Byron Young, the quickness and overall strength of Kobe Turner, and, in my opinion, the untapped potential that is about to come out in Bobby Brown III? Well, I'll tell you right now, you have a really good looking defensive front. And I don't think it's talked about nearly enough. I think this is a horrible matchup for the Lions because I think the Rams address the pass rush more than they've done since the Super Bowl season, okay? They went out and they already had Leonard Floyd. They had Okoronkwo behind him. They went out and got Von Miller. Like, that was a team that clearly knew they needed to pressure the quarterback. But the beauty about the Rams having a runner-up defensive rookie of the year and Braden Fiske, a second-round pick they traded up to get, and Bobby Brown in the trenches. We're talking defensive line, interior defensive line, not the edge, okay? The great thing about that is if you can pressure Jared Goff in the interior, if you can push the pocket into him, he's not going to have anything to step up into. And now he's going to panic. And when I look at this Lions team, they still have, Sam Laporta. They still have Jahmyr Gibbs. They still have David Montgomery. They still have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. But there's something that's interesting about this team because no Josh Reynolds, who I thought did a very, very nice job the last time he played the Rams. No Josh Reynolds is interesting, okay? This is not a receiver room I am horrified of. And I don't think Jared Goff has the greatest offensive line in the world. I think it's very good. Very good. Okay, Penei Sewell is one of the best tackles in football. Decker is very solid in his own right. They added Zeitler, basically replacing Jonah Jackson. Ragnow is one of the best, centers in football. They got guys, right? But I don't look at this offensive line and say, yeah, they're impenetrable, because they're not. The Rams were still able to get 15 pressures on the quarterback the last time out. So I still think, looking at last time, Michael Hoyt still was able to have the most pressures of any of them, okay? Now, Michael Hoyt is a backup, really where he belongs. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a knock on him. He can really make an impact coming off the bench. Same thing could be said about Nick Hampton, who I'm expecting to take a little bit of a step forward, and Brennan Jackson. But the point I'm making here is this. What's not being talked about is that the Rams actually addressed the defensive front. It's actually really good, albeit unproven, and I think they're going to unleash it in a big way Sunday night against the Lions. I don't think the Lions, especially looking at just what we're talking about, defensive line versus that offense, I don't think the Lions did a ton. And I definitely wouldn't say they're better on the offense than last year, because I would say losing Josh Reynolds significantly hurts the depth of this wide receiver room. Now, they may be up to something. They may know more than we do. But looking at the roster depth, I don't love the receiver room. And God forbid an Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, they're going to be in trouble. But the point is, looking at this game and this game alone, week 1, I think the Rams match up incredibly well with that defensive line that's going to be able to essentially nonstop throw haymakers at Goff and company. And the reason I say that is because I really like their depth. I thought their depth was solid last year. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was solid. This year, another year of Bobby Brown development, another year of Kobe Turner, Braden Fiske and that Energizer Bunny. And then, of course, you got guys like Neville Gallimore, veteran presence, can be a gap eater in the trenches. And then, of course, you look at Tyler Davis, the preseason he had, Desjuan Johnson. Desjuan Johnson's about to take another step, and I think Tyler Davis is going to be a lot more important than maybe we thought initially when they drafted him. So defensive line is going to have a rotation that will keep these guys ready to go. They're going to be fresh. And all game, they are going to be hunting Jared Goff, because this is a team that's going to want to throw the football. I can already tell you that right now. I know they'll want to run it, no doubt about it, but they abandoned the run. In a 24-23 affair, they absolutely abandoned the run against the Rams. The run was working, for the record, but they wanted to throw it. They wanted to do things their way. So I think when you look at this game, do not be surprised if number 55 and number 8 have a huge stamp on this one. I think it's Jared Goff's worst nightmare to go up against a defensive line that looks like this. A defensive front that has speed, that has power, that has nonstop motor left and right. I mean, you talk about nonstop motors. Let's not forget Byron Young has a nonstop motor. We know Jared Verse, we know Braden Fiske does based on what we saw at FSU, but these guys, Kobe Turner, Bobby Brown, this is disgusting, and it's not being talked about because there's not Aaron Donald. What if I told you that the entire time Aaron Donald retiring, while that is a big deal, it shouldn't just go unnoticed, but it's been the only thing people want to notice because the reality is Aaron Donald retiring has basically put fog over what they've done, okay? It is basically hidden the Rams in the trenches. And I think this defense, while it's going to be opportunistic, I don't think they're going to be a shutdown defense, but playing off that opportunistic ability that I think they have, I think we're about to see a feisty looking defensive front. And then when you pair that with the fact that they have a secondary that looks really good, obviously the starters, the depth could be a little bit better at corner, but already the starters look great. Linebackers are a little bit of a question mark, but if you look at the most important thing, if you could have anything on a defense, there's a reason why they say smart teams build from the inside out. Well, the trenches are a big deal. And when you look at this defensive line, you look at who they're throwing out there, this is going to basically make everyone's job easier. The linebackers, the corners, and the safeties. If Braden Fiske and Jared Verse and so forth are all getting after the quarterback, well, now Jared Goff has less time to be able to survey and throw the ball. And maybe even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top receiver, he might not have time to get open against the secondary because of the pressure being, put on Goff. So, was Goff sacked a ton last year? No. Is Goff going to be sacked a ton this year? Probably not. But I do think in this game, look out for Braden Fiske, number 55. Look out for Jared Verse, number 8. This is their time, okay? This is the first game they've played since FSU, and I'm excited to see it. But also, let's not forget, they may not have played in preseason, but Andrew Whitworth on the broadcast made a great point. The fact is, we don't see them in Rams uniforms during preseason. It's easy to forget. But these guys have been out working all day, every day, throughout the offseason. And the reality is this. They went up against the Cowboys twice, the Texans, and they did multiple joint scrimmages and practices. So they've had a lot of reps. Whitworth brought up how essentially the in-game reps, the scrimmage reps, were more important than the preseason reps. So that is something that I'm going to take very seriously moving forward, and I think Braden Fiske is going to be the X factor in this Rams-Lions game. Is this a full-on game preview? Absolutely not, but I wanted to throw this out there right now. I think the Rams' defensive line is going to be the deciding factor between whether this defense struggles early on and can't recover, or this defense surprises everybody and ends up being a top half of the league defense like I believe they're going to be. So that's going to do it. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, what you guys think about this defensive line. I truthfully think that this is why, despite Stafford, despite Cooper Kupp being healthy, despite Kyron Williams being healthy, despite the emergence of Colby Parkinson at tight end, very exciting there, and Blake Corum and all the different things that they did, the thing that has me I believe the Rams are going to win this game. The thing that has me feeling really good about this game is that defensive front. You can admit Aaron Donald is the best player on last year's team and would have been the best on this year's team, okay? You can absolutely admit that. But one thing you can't say is that last year's defense, when it's all said and done, I don't think it's going to be better than this one. That's what I'll say. So excited to see Verse and Fiske get at it. Excited to see all these guys. Football's right around the corner, folks. Get hyped. If you're not, just get hyped. I don't know what else to say. But that's going to do it for me. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Excuse me there. And also, be sure to check out our sponsor, Prize Picks. I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.